Hello, my name is Jason Cervisi. I am the executive pastor here at Church on the Rock in Brownsburg. And I just want to let everyone know kind of the history of the church. And so in 2010, a man named John Lau came to me and my wife Elizabeth, and he asked us if we would be interested in planting a church in Greenfield, Indiana. And so we told him, the obviously Christian thing to do is, hey, we'll pray about it. And so at the time, Greenfield was probably 12 to 15 minutes away from where we were living. And so we prayed for it for a few weeks, and John and his wife Megan came back over and said, hey, so what are you thinking about going to Greenfield? And we kind of looked at him and we just really didn't feel that was where God was wanting us to go. And so he said, great, because that's not where we feel God wants us to go either. And so he asked us about Brownsburg, Indiana. And I really honestly had never even heard of that town. And so I knew of Avon and I knew of Plainfield, but I never heard of Brownsburg. And so we decided to take a drive and head over, about an hour drive. And we went to Northfield and 267 because that's where everyone wants to go in Brownsburg. And so we sat there, we went up to the welcome Brownsburg sign that's no longer there, and we prayed, and we left, and we went home and prayed for a couple more weeks, and we felt that that was where God wanted us to go. And so John and Megan went out and they started trying to raise funds for us to start Church on the Rock. And so Elizabeth and I started looking for homes. And so we found a house, and we moved here on leap year 2012. So that was February 29th is when we moved here. And so we had already started Bible study in the hotel in Hampton Inn, just north of 74, on January 6th, 2011. Our daughter was 6 days old, and we started Bible study there. And then July of 2011, we had our first Sunday morning service at Eden Hall. We ran roughly our family and John Lau's family, and we had maybe 2 guest families. And so we were very, very small. And we did that for roughly 6 months, and an opportunity came to start meeting at Church at Main, their old building on Jefferson Street. Before they sold, they opened up their church for us to meet there, and there we really saw some good growth. But they wanted to sell the building, so we couldn't meet there any longer. And so we ended up moving over to West Middle School, and we met in their cafeteria, and there we saw some really, really good growth. And while being at West Middle School, a fellow by the name of Rashad Cunningham came, and it was just a thing that he came, and we befriended him, and John Lau felt called to go start another church in Westfield, Indiana. And so the church decided to call Rashad as the new lead pastor. And so Rashad was here for 4 or 5 years, and that lovely C word hit in 2020. And Rashad, during the 2020 COVID year, got called to another church, and he left to go lead a church up north. And at that time, I worked and still work full-time for the state of Indiana. And so I was trying to juggle working full-time, 5 kids, and run the church. And during that time, Pastor Allen, who now is our lead pastor, who I'd met a few years before at a church camp ministry, we talked and we prayed, and I asked him to come in view of a call. And so he came, and we took a big hit when COVID hit. We were running about 200 to 250 people on a regular basis. And when COVID hit, like most churches, we lost a lot of members due to just being easier, just to be honest, being easier to attend church sitting on your couch than actually going in person. And so we called Pastor Allen, and he is now full time, and now we're starting to gain momentum again. And he's been here now for, I believe, 2.5, 3 years. I think it's 3 years now. And so we're rolling, and we have very dedicated people that attend here. We have visitors on a regular basis. We have people that come back several times. And so we're just extremely thankful for what God has done here at Church on the Rock. We got a great landlord as we rent the building we're in on Donnelly and 267. And just a great guy. He is a Christian man that not only does he help the church, but he prays over the church, and he really cares for the church's pastors, and he's in constant communication with us. And we couldn't be any happier to have him for a landlord. But I'm just extremely thankful for the people you guys have seen through these videos. Clinton, a guy that came in off the street, we met him at an event here in Brownsburg. Now he leads our worship team. Like, God does some amazing things just through meeting people. One of our pastors was just someone we met that walked in the doors one day, Rashad. And so Alan, we got to meet him because I was looking for a church camp for our youth 6 years ago. And that's how we met him. And God has just always taken care of us. And so I want to leave you with this. My favorite story in the Bible is the woman at the well. And one of the things I love about that story is, if you think about it, that was somewhere Jesus wasn't supposed to be, but he knew he had to go there. And so he went, and there was an appointment there, and that was with the woman at the well, to where he was able to speak to her, to where she knew that she needed that living water, and that living water was Jesus Christ. And she accepted him. And one of the things I find very ironic in that story is she ran into the community to tell people about Jesus when his disciples were already in the community, but they were so focused on the task at hand, which was getting food, that they didn't even think about telling people, hey, Jesus is over here. They just walked back and asked about the crazy woman that was talking about him in the city. And so as Christians, we need to be that crazy lady in the city and telling people about our living God, Jesus, who loves us, never forsakes us, and will care for us all the days of our lives.